No,
mid-season. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're taking a mid-season break.
Welcome to episode 11 of Mom Can You Not?
Hello. I was told before we started shooting that I wasn't showing enough enthusiasm. So nasty. I'll be giving enthusiasm. Yeah.
Mom, tell them what we've been through with this podcast.
Podcast, this podcast has been doing rounds. Takabata to my suitcase, we're trying to find some way to shoot this podcast. We've decided to do it, an improvis. Shoot a trip as perm. You guys don't understand that we really are trying. Initially, we were, camped out at a podcast studio, which have in pose akachitaona kuba kunyowani but tanga kuti podcast kwakwaitono chiroom chako changa chisingaite because we thought we'd found a new home for a forever home for our podcast. So we started sending subliminals and saying the wrong thing about where we used to do our podcast. Now the new home that we'd found for our podcast, nice and warm, but do they ever open? You book them, they don't confirm the bookings. It's just a nightmare. I don't know how they are running that their business, but we've been trying. So we decided, you know what, we'll use a space that there's no booking paspe mango and we can do the best, because Chamuru Kungodaga is us talking.
Yeah,
nyayas, you don't care about the aesthetics. So here we are. If we could show you the behind the scenes, it's definitely paspe mango. The lights are jaggerwa nemabhaketi kuachira. We've just had to do what grown women do and try and make do. So if the lighting is poor, if the sound is not good,
if I'm not in the shots,
you can still hear her, as long as the star of the show, I'm holding the whole camera. But Makadini, Shonenjani, how are you? Hello everyone to this fantastic episode.
Hey. So what's today's episode about, babes?
So today is it's our mid-season, right? So we've done 10 episodes, isn't it?
We've actually done 10 episodes.
We've done 10 episodes, guys. And so if you've been moving with us, I don't know why they'll be
complaining they've got 10 episodes, 10 hours worth of content.
Well, some of them would have binged on it, isn't it? Yeah. And they want some more. And we started this, our whole intents and purpose, guys, has been to shoot these videos, do you justice, and bring you an episode every week. But like we are saying, another one of our lights is decided before 10 minutes into the episode, the lights are already saluting and saying sayonara. But we move in it.
Oh my God.
Takabva kumba tichitaura kuti izvoni tadzingwa nemutungamiri wenyika hatingambozokundwa nemalights. We'll do what we can. So guys, right, so today we are mid-season, because apparently a season is 20 episodes.
Yeah.
So we are on episode number 11. So I decided to make it sort of like a conglomeration, or unifying some of the topics that we've been talking about. And it's also a belated birthday edition. It's been a journey to be where I am now, to be where we are now. And I'm very blessed to have this partner to travel life with. And I've known her for almost 30 years now. We've been doing this thing called life together for almost 30 years. And I remember when we first got into the UK, I'm that type of a mom that when it comes to my children, hands will be thrown, paws will be thrown. I'm that type of a parent that if you mess with my kids, and I remember when we moved into the UK, and because one thing we always fail to realize as parents is our children were an accessory to our dreams. I don't think any of these kids, comment section if you came very, very young to the UK, because I'm not sure no child woke up in the morning, leaving the sunny Zimbabwe where you are having so much fun with your friends, speaking in your language, to come to this country, start learning to speak with a certain accent, learning, being bullied and all those things. I don't think any child signed up to that. And they just tag along with us to fulfill our dreams. So the least I could do is fight. If anyone upset my daughter, I would come and fight with you. And I did that quite a few times. I'm glad we're never embarrassed. So, when we came, the very first time when we arrived, when Koko was a very, very young girl, she was very quiet as well, very intelligent. At that time, she was reading at 10 years. She was only 4, turning 5 when we came to the UK, but she was reading and she was writing, and she was super bright. And she goes into, her year group, and she acquired a bully, guys. This girl decided to bully my daughter and bully her incessantly, and because she was so tiny. If you had seen Koko, then I don't know if we could just,
I've got a picture.
Yeah.
I'll insert a picture.
Yeah, she was so tiny, so sweet, so cute. Didn't have a voice on her, just wanting to learn, just wanting to please mommy and just do the best she can. And then she acquires a bully.
I had 2 bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one actually was in love with you because it was a boy bully.
No.
Yeah.
I had 3 bullies. They had their way with me at school, the other girl. She messaged me on Instagram,
That's the one I fought. I almost fought with the mom and the dad. I didn't just want to fight the mom. I wanted to fight the mom and the dad at the same time. And so anyway, so this particular bully, right? She really made it so difficult for my child. And I was thinking, because she was a black girl.
Yeah.
And you'd think that you'd identify, but she was the leader of the pack. So anyway.
She used to tell people I smell because I came from Africa.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, she's a black girl herself.
Yeah. So anyway,
and they didn't even have papers either, so I don't know why she was being horrible to me.
So
we had a lot more in common than we did it.
There you go. So anyway, this girl, this bully, the parent. So what I did was I spoke to the dad first. I spoke to this girl's dad, and I said, listen, I don't think the girls. I was very polite as well. I don't think the girls got off on the right foot. They are not getting along, but it appears the majority of the the lip is coming from your daughter. Can we just speak to the girls and let them get along fine? So the dad was like, oh yeah, I'll go and speak to her, just leave it with me. Then the following day, she comes back. She's even worse than she was before. So anyway, I thought, men being men, maybe he forgot. So I decided I was going to speak to the mom. So this time I saw the mom and I said to the mom,
welcome for your
the girls are not getting along, and it appears they didn't, a very nice, polite way of speaking to another parent, because you don't want to say, your child is the way they are because you are a nasty parent or a shitty parent or your parenting is rubbish. So I just said, I think the girls, got off on a wrong foot. I don't know what happened, but she's now, flicking my daughter's lunch and stuff like that. And Koko wasn't even eating at school. She was too shy to eat. And it wasn't like she was carrying, matemba and misadza or maguru nematumbu for her lunch. It was just, common, plain Jane sandwiches. But she was getting bullied. So anyway, I spoke to the mom and gave the instances, right? So at this point, bear in mind, it's been going on for a while. At this point, she goes, oh, it's not my fault if your child is stupid. So I said, what? Say what now? I said, well, because sometimes you want to understand, and you're trying to use the best English you can. So I said, pardon, Mati. And then she goes, well, because the thing is, she should learn to speak up for herself. She cannot have a mommy fighting a battle. Well,
bear in mind, I'm like, what, 7 or some shit?
No, you're 6 at this point. So I said, what do you mean? What do you mean she cannot have a mommy fighting her battles all the time? It's because your child is bullying my child, so you think your child is very strong. I said, tell you what I'm at this point I'm getting really angry because this woman is really being unreasonable, and I've tried to be polite. So as we are now, exchanging words, at this point we are now, you know, like nose to nose. And I was quite happy to deck her one. So that the husband comes now. Yeah, what's going on? What's going? Then I spoke to you about your daughter, right? And your daughter is carried on bullying my daughter. So I'm speaking to your wife, and your wife says, "Well, my daughter has to man up, and why should she?" And then the man says, "Yeah, I agree with my wife." Oh, I went mad. And you know, I knew looking at them too, I knew I could take them. At this point, I was ready to actually have a proper, you know, I don't know what it was going to be, a proper brawl. Anyway, the head teacher comes out. Yeah. So we now at this point we are just about them hands were about to be thrown. So the head teacher comes out and takes us into the room. At this point, I'm uncontrollable. I just want to, you know, throw my paws at this woman because you know the thing about it was the way, and you could tell why the daughter was a bully because of the way this woman was looking at me. You know, like
Where she got
sneering
it from.
and yeah, and sniggering and doing all
Mm.
sorts. So I was like, you know, I was like, you know, let's stop. I was like, I'm so sorry. I respect you, sir. You're a really nice man, but let me just
And he
show.
was a really nice man.
So then, anyway.
But why hadn't they dealt with this before? Because it's not like he hadn't said anything.
I told your class teacher. I told that woman, the one, the deputy. I hadn't told the head, to be fair. I had not met this man. Like, these people were. I told the whole, you know, teaching cohort from the class teacher. I spoken to the deputy head, but nothing had been done about this at this point. So now we're in the head teachers. We are being sat on these tiny little chairs, like we are 5 or something. And then I was explaining. As I was trying to explain, this woman is trying to interject. At this point, I'm just thinking, you know, let's not do this in front of this nice white man because I swear I will do things.
You know, I wanted to say that black people are civilized.
Yeah, and I said, let's not do this in front of, you know, white people, white folks, you know, because if it was somewhere else, would really. Anyway, so then I'm explaining the situation, what had been transpiring and whatever. And, you know, he was so objective and so kind. And he was like, you know, it's not right for your daughter to treat another daughter like that. And I will be monitoring the situation. And if it carries on, we might have to take it a bit further because as parents, if another parent speaks to you about, you know, the situation with your child in a nice way, you're supposed to be, you know, at this point, I think the man was very much about authority. So he was like, oh, yes, I understand. And he was being very apologetic to me and saying, oh, you know, we'll make sure that this doesn't happen to Koko anymore. We'll speak to her. And then after that,
she became the nicest person I've ever met. And guess what I came to find out? The dad was abusive. He used to beat them, hit her and the mom. So that's where she learned it from. And that's why that man understood authority because he was an authoritarian himself.
Yeah, because he then said, because at this point, because I said to him, because I think he didn't know how serious it was, because because when I spoke to them, I was sort of like, you know, oh, you know, kids are being kids. I didn't go specific into every situation that had been happening. So I think him listening to how nasty his daughter was really, really didn't sit down well with him. So it was like, this has to be sorted out.
Oh, I think he did sort it out.
Yeah, because when we sat in there, because now I was addressing the head teacher because he wanted to know the incidents. And I had incidents, I had dates, I had receipts.
But isn't it funny for him to not like that, but he'll be doing that in his own home?
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, because it's in the privacy and the secrecy of your own home. So now if he's leaving the house, because also bear in mind,
because she was probably just modeling the behavior that she's seen in her own house.
Yeah, and also maybe she was just sick and tired of people telling her what to do and threatening her because she lived. Because you could tell that this woman, you know, sometimes when you see a person, you just think they've had enough of it, they've had enough of life, and they're just one of. I now feel sorry for her, but then the way she behaved made me dislike her so much. And I thought she was the instigator and the perpetrator, her and her daughter. Because when I spoke to the dad, he was like, oh yeah, I'll speak to them. But I don't think he saw it for the, you know, the gravity of the situation and how it was impacting on you until I was speaking of different incidents and what the daughter had been doing. So I don't think he took care of it because he cared for you. He took care of it because he was embarrassed and, you know, ashamed of his daughter's behavior. Yeah. So you know, it just goes to think that sometimes, you know, when you're coming into these foreign lands, you don't know the impact it's going to have on your children, because ultimately, I don't think we ever sit our children down to say, what are your thoughts about migrating? What are your thoughts about going to a foreign land and leaving everything you know? We just wake up one day, and because, you know, we just, you know, tell people that, hey, you know, that's all you tell them. You scare the bejesus out of them. So they're keeping this very heavy information. Because I remember when we're getting ready to come here, not so many people knew, but she knew. And she had all her friends at school. She had all these people she knew. And then I was getting her hair plaited. We didn't even tell the teacher why we were doing this and why I was being defiant. So I was like, oh, it's near to the end of the... No, actually, it was the beginning of the term, because they had finished their Easter break, because we came...
I think you said we were going to a wedding or something.
Yeah.
I said I was in a wedding.
I said she was part of a wedding party, because, you know, in Zimbabwe, they have to have very tiny hair. So I got her hair braided, and the teacher came to me and was like, oh, why is her hair braided? And I was like, well, she's in a wedding party, so she has got to attend a wedding on Saturday, but we'll take the braids off straight after. And she was like, please do. She can't come back to school on Monday with braids. I knew that was their last week at that school. She was not coming back to that school ever again. And she couldn't even say goodbye to her friends. She couldn't even, you know, tell them what was happening in her life, because her mom had said, at Quirendeg.
So what a burden to put on a child, Mom. Yeah. Now I'm thinking that if we don't get on the plane, it's because of me and my loud mouth.
Known for a while at this point that this was happening, because, you know, this is such a heavy burden to carry. You know, we you know,
I look at Georgia and think to myself, you're telling Georgia things.
Georgia would.
Because Georgia like me when I was younger.
Yeah. No, but you know, Georgia is more like me. Georgia is, you know, Georgia is loud. Georgia cannot keep a secret for anyone. She will tell you things as they are. Whereas you, on the other hand, because growing up with Zimbabwe, we'd taught you to keep secrets. And that's the other thing about our community. We teach children to keep grown-up secrets. And sometimes it depends with the secrets that they're keeping. Because now, you know, when you reflect on some of the things that we used to do, so that I, on the other hand, to be honest, I was never like that. So I got 3 of my sisters married, guys, before time. Because, you know, they would escape and go and see boys at night. So what I would do, right? So the first one who I got me successfully married, my brother-in-law loves me to bits, because I'm the one who facilitated this marriage because of my loud mouth. So my brother-in-law was he was a gardener, right? My sister wanted to marry, you know, a teacher, a fireman, or a doctor. And she was very pretty. So she was just, you know, spending time with this garden boy, because, you know, he used to buy a camphor, buy a ponds, you know, when we were growing up, you know, this vanishing cream that girls used to like, ne eyeliner. Was my brother-in-law, I think, like, ends eyebrow pencil. So I know, you know, vanishing cream, or camphor and eyebrow pencil.
Then beside the mask, like romantic.
You were such a romantic. And beside the mask, it was like, you know, a UTI urine color. It was such a dark mask ever of South Africa. Guys who grew up around
what mask? Like perfume?
It was like perfume.
Okay.
So you should get a bottle of perfume, eyebrow pencil, camphor, Pond's vanishing cream every month and without fail from this garden boy. So before, he never used to ask for anything. He'll be like, oh, you know, and my sister will take these things. I'll be my sister's chaperone, so I'll be walking with them, and you'd buy me cherry plum with a cream donut.
Not you selling your sister for
you know, he was so nice. I was easy, you know, bribe me with cream donuts and cherry plum, I'm fine. Come back with some with what they used to be called my chompkins, mama chompkini, you know, the crisps, I'm fine. So, you know, she'd come back and she'd pay her taxis. So I would leave the window open, and, you know, when she comes in, we'll close the window and would sleep. Dave was the daytime boyfriend.
Okay.
And used to keep everything legit.
Everything was
You'd come
legit.
and see her in the afternoon when he had lunch break between 1 and 2. He was a good man, Savannah.
Does Dave know that?
Yeah, he does. Because it gets very interesting. So Dave, between 1 and 2, he'd come and see my sister.
Yeah.
Right. But my sister liked this boy. He was what do you call it? angari msoja nditi kg6.
Okay, this is another one.
That's the nighttime boyfriend.
Okay, the nighttime boyfriend now.
So anyway, so bear in mind my heart was so heavy and it needed regular cherry plum and crisps for it to be kept quiet, right? And you need if I was asked by mom to do anything, wash clothes, or you have to wash those clothes because my heart is heavy. So, and there were 3 ways things could go wrong. I could go and tell Dave about the situation. I could tell the nighttime boyfriend about this situation. I could tell mom about this situation. So you can see how much I was caring for a tiny, tiny heart like mine. So she used to keep me sweet, give me whatever I liked, and crisps galore. At night I would get 2 packets of cheese.
So at night time she'd go out the window.
Out the window.
She'd fly out the window to go see the soldier.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I'm Soja Maneru, in the afternoon it was Dave.
How come soldier only wanted to be seen at night?
Wait. You are rushing the story. So anyway, so my
now always you say only Varoi and prostitute.
Varoi nema urendo afamba wasiku. So anyway, so I'm there. At this point, I'm thinking, bear in mind, my tax was very low because I'm thinking my sister is seeing the same guy in the morning and in the evening. That's what I'm thinking. So
you thought all along you thought it was that she never told you.
That they were true. Oh. So my tax is very low. I'm just thinking, sometimes I wouldn't even ask for anything because I'd have had my cream donuts and cherry plum. So I'm just thinking it's a carry over. And this Runyararo tax is enough because it's been paid in the morning. And Dave was a lovely guy. So one day she goes through the window and I'm just like, you know what? I need to see if I'm charging the right price here. So I come out of the window when I follow her. I'm seeing.
Come to find out.
Wait, this is not Dave. Who is this man? So anyway, I come back home. I don't say anything because by the time she came back, I was asleep at this point and she just closed the window and we slept. In the morning, I was like, she knew that I had all the data. I said, then she was like, what are you saying? And I was like, nothing. I'm just saying it's not the same person. We are dealing with 2 men. So then she goes, you dare not tell anyone about this. I said, no, I'm not going to tell anyone. It's just that he needs to pay, isn't it? Because the price is different because it's not the same person. Because I was thinking the price from the afternoon would carry on for the nighttime, but it's not the same person. Anyway, so we go on our travels. She gets me 2 cream donuts at this point. 1 cherry plum to drink.
How old were you when you were?
I think I could have been 6, 7. But she was an older sister. Siskiri was way older than me.
Oh, okay.
She was
in her 20s.
She could have been in her early 20s. Yeah. So I'm thinking, fine, what do I do here? I've got all this information ringing in my head. So anyway, she kept on paying. She, paid her tax. She bring me crisps at night and with a freezed cherry plum in the morning, in the afternoon, right? So one day we had a fallout. And then she decided that she was going to be very mean to me. She decided to be, Mom said, because Mom said they needed to teach me to cook sadza because I was getting to an age where they needed to teach me to do things, not spoil me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at her and I was like, Bet, teach me.
God then.
So she was like, so in front of my mom, she was like, yeah, she's very lazy. This one, I'm going to teach her. And my mom was like, yes, teach her. I was like, really? Is that you?
Is that you?
Is that you?
Is that you?
And she was like, she needs to be taught. And now she's teaching me sadza and she's pinching my ears in front of my mom. So I looked at her 3 times and I was like, is this where we are going? Is this our relationship, you and me right now? Right. So I thought, anyway, since mom leaves, maybe she's doing this.
Showing off.
She's showing off because mom is there. So I'm thinking once mom is left. Yeah. And she's doing it to show mom that she can be tough with me. Once mom leaves, she's going to go, bro, I was just doing it for mom. Mom leaves and she carries on. So I'm like,
is that you?
I'm like, Siskiri.
Because we know each other.
She comes in, and she slaps me across the face, fam. And it really got me into my nothing is going to pay for this. There's no way this is going to be, no amount of crisps kana masage my crisp and chatombomad. You can't slap me, Anyway, so at night she now realizes. So at this point, I think things were not going well with Msoja. So she didn't care because she didn't think she was going to go out that night.
Yeah.
But then Msoja rocks up. So she's going, Memo, munganda kurukisa madreads akanaka anditi. Kurukisa madreads. Ngara ndisikuda madreads ndikati. Udotingira matennis. Ngara ndisikuda ko perfume ndokupa ndine imwe ngara ndisikuida. I'm sorry at this point. I'm like, now there's no this humiliation. She made me suffer this afternoon. She has to suffer. So she left through the window. She normally did. She at this point, actually, what I wanted, I was like, please go. So at this point, she's going, Memo, can I leave just for a few? Oh yeah, sure, that will be fine. No, yeah, you go.
Your revenge.
You go. And are you sure? Are we now good? Sorry, I was on the mascot meaning no. No, sis one of Faris and no, go, my sis, you can go. So she left. So I closed the window. Then I went and I said to my Mom, I can't sleep in the room by myself because I'm scared. Mom was like, what do you mean you can't sleep by yourself? I said, well, because Siskiri is not there. She's been gone for like 3 hours now. Mom was like, 3 hours?
What time was it?
This was like, I think 11 at this point.
Oh, god damn. And people in Zim go to bed early and lock the gates as well. There you
go. So Mom was like, oh no, don't worry. We will not sleep in my room. We'll go back into your room and we'll sleep there and we'll wait for her. So I think because they hadn't seen each other for a long time, I knew
the romance was romancing.
So I knew normally she'd go about 11:30. She'll be back. That's why I went at 11 because I wanted just 30 minutes for Mom to be there and they've seen that she was gone. Fam, would the girl come back? 11, 12, 1, 2, 2:30. She comes in. Mom goes. No, she tries to open the door. She's trying to prise the window open. She's going, Memo, Mona. And Mom just opens the door. Then my mom said, oh, so we are window and we are door. And Mom opens the door for her and she comes in. And then Mom goes, where were you? And she was like, Nana no rasa bin. And then Mom was like,
well, what 12, 1, 2, 3.5 hours she was throwing
the bin.
The bin.
My mom was like, oh, okay. Right. So now what does she do? Obviously she couldn't go to the soldier. You know why? Because the soldier had a wife.
The soldier had a wife.
That's why they used to see each other at night. So what does she do?
What did she do?
She goes to poor Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh, because she'd been kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Poor Dave had never been with my sister at night, had never touched her anywhere past this elbow. Because I was a chaperone and I could speak for this man. And then
he was a good man, Savannah.
Then Siskiri moves in with Dave. And then Dave comes to the uncles, I think after a month.
Yeah.
And then goes, the uncles came and our aunt was there as well. So she was there and they took the clothes because she'd gone with nothing.
Yeah.
So they took the clothes and then Dave was there. So I was...
Did she explain to Dave what had happened? How she'd end up?
Because she told me the story later on. Hang up, hold up. Wait, we're sharing it because it's now... common knowledge, and my brother-in-law is cool like that. Anyway, so she's gone now, and so she goes, my nini, my brother-in-law, because I'm my sister's younger sister. Don't be a stranger. You know where I live. I'm still living there, so you can always come and see your sister and come and see the baby. At this point, because we hadn't seen her for almost like a year. At this point,
for real?
she now had a baby, right? So then I went, and I think it was bygones be bygones because Dave was a good man, Savannah. My sister was being taken care of. He was even, he had he had found a job because it was white people's houses where they used to work. So she was sort of like in a nursery because they had a nursery place. Because my sister had gone to school, she had her O-levels. So she became like a nursery nurse. So, but my brother-in-law was still a garden boy. You know, things were, they had such a solid home, right? And I went and I saw her, and then she was like, "Oh, like, you know," and I would go and
you
see.
helped her out of a situation, to be fair, because what was she doing with Soja in the first place?
So now at this point now, because I was just about 7-ish, 8-ish. So now, you know, they because he was such a traditional man as well. He liked to do things the traditional way. So he calls my aunt, right? And then he says he wanted to see my aunt, right? And he said, I also want to see my nini, meaning me. So anyway, so I go there. So then my brother-in-law goes, mine mwana. So he's at this point he's like Shiloh's age. He's now walking. You know, he's a big boy. And so my brother-in-law goes to my aunt. Dakushedza, I just wanted to say, oh, you know, Kiri is here. Kiri has got a lovely son. So when is she going to have a baby for me?
What?
Kiri has got a son whom I've taken care of. When is she going to have? So
the baby was the soldiers.
Yeah, and he knew, and he never said anything. He just,
did she know that he knew?
Because what my sister thinking she's the clever one, innit, got there and she was thinking she'd just, you know, do a Tinashe Mugabe thing where she just say, you know, let's just, you know, and then but because he was like, oh no, I can't do anything with you until I actually marry you properly. So it took him like a whole 10 months to raise this money. So my sister was just living there in the belly going
and just never asked.
Never said anything. She went into labor, gave birth. He went with her to the hospital, you know, gave this boy his last name. And at this point, she's now saying, because now she was, these people were now proposing where she was working. They were proposing that they wanted her to go to teacher training college, and somewhere in Gweru or somewhere. And so they were going to be apart for like 3 years. But she was going, you can't now leave me with a 2-year-old. Without a child of mine to now pursue your dream. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Right. And she wasn't she wasn't listening. So then decided to take the story to the road. So I'm not understanding the gravity of the situation because I'm too young. I've just opened my eyes so wide. And I'm at that point, I just couldn't understand what was transpiring or going on, or I just couldn't understand it because I'm 7, and not my aunt goes, oh, bambiki, tinozviziva makachengetera mwana, tinosiya takuitirai mwana, kana iwo mai wenyu aripo ava, kana ava vatadza kupai mwana chimusa mapiwa chiripo, you know, just like appeasing him because he really liked me. He had such a soft spot for me. And so then, so my sister is looking at me thinking I'd said something.
Like, what do you think I am? How would I know any of this?
So she's so you know when older people's eyes are looking at you like, you know, this,
you pagan.
Yeah. So I was like, I am soldier. I didn't tell anyone about the soldier. You don't look at me like that because I did.
If you didn't know,
I'm thinking, why are people looking at me so awkwardly? And I'm like, I didn't say anything. I used to threaten because I just like crisps, but I didn't tell anyone about anything. On the day when you so happened to be, because I thought, this has been left hanging for a very long time. There's this big elephant in the bathroom, which no one is addressing. Let me just come out cleaning it since we are all in the club. We're all fam.
Yeah.
So I said, right, guys, listen. I was just a greedy child. I just like crisps. I like cherry plum. I like cream donuts. I understand I took my tax from you. Fair enough. And I also took the tax from the soldier. But I kept it all in my heart. Now that we all know where potentially this baby came from.
Did the soldier ever find out?
So, right. This is rolling years later now. I'm now grown. I'm now a woman in my own right. I'm now married. I'm now living somewhere in Zimbabwe. I saw him, and he was so distinct because he had freckles, and he was so light, even red. Like those people who are not light skinned but red with freckles. So you could tell. So I saw him. He was now, I think, a high ranking whatever. And because my son, I call him my son,
looked like him.
Yeah.
Oh.
You look like him, but minus the freckles. But the whole stage, even the walking. So I approached him. I said, I know you. Yeah. And he was like, where do you know me from? And I said, do you know Kira? He was like, yeah, I know who she is. I said, do you know? He was, yeah, I know. I've been supporting the child on the low. So now there's another secret for me.
Oh my days.
So I said, because at this point, I think my son was like 16, 15, 14, round about. He was still young. He had just started high school, but I was going to a good high school at this point. But because she was now a teacher, I'm thinking, you know what? She probably can afford it. Because at this point, they were where they were teaching. She had been given land. So my brother-in-law decided that they were going to build their home there. So they built a nice, bungalow. They had gardens. And because he was so hardworking, he was doing all this gardening, all this. So they were so comfortable. So to me, him going to boarding school I was like, they're very thrift with their money. So they're probably, I don't know, they've saved up for him to
people.
Go. They were, even up to now, very sensible people. So now at this point I'm grown. So I said to her. So then her mother-in-law passed away. So we met at the funeral, and I was telling her, so fancy you still doing skibblers. And she was like, no, it's all above board.
Yeah.
I spoke to my husband about it, and because he came, we had a 3-way meeting, like proper grown adults, and.
Yeah.
And I think to this day, my brother-in-law Dave is the most sensible Zimbabwean man I've come across. If men are going to go to heaven, he definitely is the one who's going.
He's the one representative.
He's the one representative.
For men.
So that's the first sister I got married off when I was 7. And the second sister I got married off when I was 9.
With your big mouth.
With my big mouth. But with this one, I went to the family. This was the opposite now of what had happened. This one got kicked out. But my sister was in love with this. We used to call him Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So, he had curly perm. But he was such a player.
Was it one from like a box? His curly perm, was it natural?
It was from a box. Oh. He actually used to go and get rollers. So sometimes, when I used to say, I used to be sent to our house so that she can go and be a maid. And she used to come Kumbakwedu for, like on her off days. And we never used to see much of her. She would come, drop her bag, go with this pim boy.
Michael
Jackson. And Michael Jackson,
was he black Michael Jackson or white Michael Jackson?
He used to use ambi as well. So he was light skinned in some parts, and some parts were not very, the ones that's not so sugar ambi. He was strange, but I don't know what my sister saw in this man. He loved this man, proper, to the extent that she was missing. Sometimes she'd lie and say, I'm not feeling well. My mom has asked her to come and babysit me so that she can go with this boy. She'd never even come home. So anyway, it's because my sisters used to speak. So they used to like, she's, if you go with memory anywhere, you get married, And so she started taking me to see Bangkru Michael Jackson. Bangkru Michael Jackson was so strange because he couldn't even speak English, but he always wanted to speak in English all the time.
He couldn't speak English, but
no, always wanted to speak in English. He never had money. Dave was a garden boy, but he would make sure that he spoiled me. He would treat me nice. This one, I could not see it. I was not seeing the relationship. I wasn't benefiting it. Even to bribe, I couldn't even be bribed because there was nothing to bribe. It was just, that's the time.
All his money on Kali.
That's the time, because if you know Zimbabwe very well, where we went to see Granddad, that's where he used to come from, right? We used to walk from where I grew up. This is like 2 hours walking to go and see him. Because he couldn't even afford.
That's a 2-hour walk.
2 to 3 hours. No, not where we went. Not where I grew up.
Oh, not Breastside.
Not Breastside.
Oh, okay.
No. It was a 2 to 3 hour walk, and there was like hills, and it wasn't an easy path to walk. We'd go, we'd see him. My sister would cook for him. On our way, she'd save her money so that she can buy like pieces of chicken to go and cook for him. And then you'd be like, I mean, I don't like tomatoes. You know that. I don't like tomatoes. You know that. God. Love does some strange things to people. Now, whenever I see her, I don't see much of her now. Bless her. She now.
I don't like tomatoes.
I don't like tomatoes. You know that. So he liked his chicken fried with a bit of cucumber on the side. He liked dry foods. He didn't like wet foods. But because obviously, so she would cook for him. And then my sister would be like, go and play with the cousins outside. You know, and so I would play with the cousins for like 2 hours whilst they're in there. And then I would come back home. Right. So only to find out, right? This is they'd been doing this for a year. You know, at this point, I'd lost so much weight from these Saturday walks we used to have to take with my sister to go and see this man. So she gets pregnant, right? She's now pregnant with this guy's belly and whatever. But their family, they came. This Michael Jackson's mom and dad, they were like proper praying apostle.
Yeah.
So he used to stay at their house whilst they lived in the village and to collect rent and send it to the parents. And you know, was busy dating this girl and being Michael Jackson.
So, do you think just like Michael Jackson
all the time with a little hat and this teleperm coming on the side? Never had money because he was busy buying Kel activator for that bloody pen. So I know at this point now I'm thinking, okay, fair enough, all right. You know, my sister could not see anyone. You know, Dave even tried to fix this sister of mine with another guy, but she wasn't having none of that because I don't like tomatoes. You know that was there. So now the other time, so we used to do like inter schools, right? So he was booked to perform at one of the inter schools as Michael Jackson, right? So I'm telling people that
you know who I can think of. You know that guy. What's that song, Mom? It does
special needs.
No, it's like a recent song. It's a recent like Zim song, and the guy dresses like Michael Jackson.
The guy dresses like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
a recent song.
Yes, I don't know if it's like a Soldier Love impersonator as well. Is
that
the one?
Yeah, but he doesn't dress like Michael Jackson.
There's one that dresses like Michael Jackson.
Guys, in the comment section, do you know any artists?
I'll find the song and I'll play it for you. But he dresses like Michael Jackson, and that's all I can see.
So he was booked to perform at these inter schools, right? So he comes in his whole Michael Jackson regalia. Fam, he couldn't even do the moonwalk because he had a bit of a pot belly, right? So people are going, woo, and they're laughing. You know, ghetto children are horrible. They're laughing at him. So now Prince, my next door neighbor, knew that my sister dated this guy. He's going, like, I don't know this man. I've never seen this man in my life.
You need to tell the story of when was it your granddad came?
I will tell that story. Anyway, so this is we are starting by scaling it all the way back, guys, because I know you like this story. So anyway, right. So I denied I'd ever seen this man in my life. So anyway, I'm trying to. So I'd lost my cardigan, and my mom was very strict about people losing their ish at school. So I'm looking for my cardigan. Michael Jackson, in all his regalia, comes to help me try to look for it. So people are going, I'm bad. You know it. And this man is busy looking for my cardigan with me. And I'm just thinking, can you please let me live? So he goes, Ande kumba muno team. So we go.
He was a good man, Savannah.
No, I think it was just being nice because he knew that my sister would say, why did you leave the baby to? So we walked to his house at this point. Now I can't deny him because he's already shown people that we know each other. So we follow each other to his house to drink tea. So whilst we were there, right? Because now my sister is pregnant, everybody at home knows it. But she can't bring herself to tell this man. We are there. The mom, the impostor mom, comes to visit the son. You didn't know that this mom was coming. So I'm here, chimga changu chokumagaro, chine bata, ndimwane tea.
And she comes and she's thinking, what the heck?
She's like,
where did you find the shop from?
So who is this child? Who's the little girl in your house?
Especially as a man, it would be a bit strange to just have a random little girl in your house.
He's still in his regalia, still wearing his cap. The mom didn't even know that he had a curly perm at this point. I don't know what he used to do when the parents came visiting. He's still wearing his gloves as well. He hasn't taken off his gloves and his glass shoes and his white socks. And the mom comes in, I'm drinking tea. Michael Jackson is sat by the bed. It's just not. If it was in this particular life we live, it was spelling PDF files in every way, shape, or form. There's a young girl in a school uniform drinking tea in your house. You're dressed like Michael Jackson and you're in a one round. Please make it, explain it. So the mom comes in and so so the mom is like, oh, who is this one? Oh, Mama does you and it's more than that. So the mom is like, it's more than that. What do you mean? And this man is like, here we go. I was like, mfunge mama. Komongo is a girlfriend. I don't know. And the mom is like, ndakazviona pamwe ndazvirota saka ndauya taura tigoti aha. I was singing like a canary from the amount of times he came and we cooked for him and he said, I don't like tomatoes. I was telling him about all that, how we used to cook in the house for him. Now I would go and play with the other kids outside for 2 hours. Telling this woman, I'm telling her all my story. And so the mom was like, in our culture and in our church, you can't do that to somebody's child and leave them. So, if what you're saying is correct, Manangu, this girl needs to come because ndakatomona pamoya, ndataura pamoya. So anyway.
Was the mom like nice?
Listen, this woman was so good.
Oh.
So anyway, at this point, I've sorted everything.
So Michael Jackson was the problem.
Michael Jackson was the problem. Even the mom didn't know that he had killed him because he started now looking for a woolen hat to wear. Because the mom is there also got woolen man with my shoes on him. Anyway, so the mom is like, I can't leave until this is all sorted out. So now he can now do all his shenanigans because the mom is now back. He can't dress like Michael Jackson. He's just wearing his shorts and his t-shirt and wearing a woolen all the time. So I speak to my sister and I was like, I've sorted your marriage out. Everything is patterned. What do you mean? I said, I've spoken to the mom. The mom knows about you. What are you talking about? I said, I told the mom about your whole shenanigans, how you used to cook in the tomatoes. I don't like that. And you know me, I don't like people who don't take care of their babies. So my other sister, the one who had gotten married, she came.
Yeah.
And then I was there as well. Can you imagine? We went, they would not leave me into anything. We went and we left her there.
Yeah.
And then she got married the Mapostori way. We actually went to the wedding. She still has the photos somewhere. Next time we go and see her.
Yeah.
She's, if my sister had been during this time, she's a documentary person. She's got diaries from that time.
Oh, wow.
She used to take photos. She used to call this man, Christopher, to take photos of us.
Yeah.
But she could never afford to get them, to get them off. So I used to be a model, guys, in Fakos. My photos with these people holding flowers, they always used to make it to the, to that display of people who never pay for their photos. When she raised enough money, she went and took, she had gotten over 300 snaps taken by this guy. Wow. And she went and got them all taken. And there, some of how butters I looked, but she kept all the photos for me. And then, and then she got married to this man. But the marriage was very tough. It was tough on my sister because she was always, in the rural areas with the mom. But the mom was so supportive and she had because it now looked like she'd just come to Harare to get a baby and go back and raise the baby, come back to Harare. They never lived together.
Yeah.
And then Michael Jackson, I think, died in the early 2000s. Oh. But I don't know what he died of, but he now had a natural curly perm. It wasn't the one from the bottle. So I don't know what transpired. But at least my sister was spared of whatever it was. And she's a grown woman now. My sisters are big, they're older than me, so they're like moms to me. And 2 marriages, 1 person.
You've got a better track record than also Party Stranger.
Yeah.
Millionaire Matchmaker.
So when then I my dad passed away, I when you want comfort in people who actually knew how much you loved your dad, and you want somebody to be there who actually feels it for you. But anyway, I had my half siblings, and we were not disjointed, but we shared the same memories with my dad, because my dad loved us all in his own way. But I had a very unique bond with him because of how I was procreated and how I came to the earth. So he really had that special bond for me. And everybody knew that. That's why, when he passed away, people were like, we have to wait for her. She has to come home. So when I go there the first night, there's my stepmother doing the most, and there's all this drama. And it's just like, I just want to mourn my dad in peace. Like past midnight, because they live far, from where my dad was. This is getting me a bit emotional, but I'll try and get through this. So it was so loud the whole day. People were fighting over my dad, and it was a
typical
mess.
Zim funeral shenanigans.
It was an absolute Zim shenanigans. Some kids were just coming out of the woodworks, and some, because my stepmom had seen them and she'd been told that Mskanawe Cobra, it was just a mess. And I was just like, my head was spinning. So at night, people went, because I think people had been, the amount of drama got people so tired, because normally people who are Namo, they don't sleep, right? So it was like
they were overstimulated.
So people had been overstimulated from all the drama. So people went to sleep, right? And I think I ordered everyone to sleep, because I just come off a plane and I was tired. Sleep, everyone. So I'm sleeping. It's like 2 a.m. And I'm thinking I'm dreaming. I'm hearing this angelic voice. It's singing, with the highest pitch posterior, but in harmony and with power and with grace. So I'm thinking, it's maybe just a dream, because I just wanted some solace. And I'm opening my eyes, and so people are now, because Kumba, if somebody comes singing, people will join in. So people are joining in, and I'm thinking, no, this is not a dream. This is actually happening. So I open my eyes, and there is Dave and my sister, and they are singing with so much strength, so much power, and and they're singing this comforting song, right? And I'm thinking these people have traveled for over 10 hours. I don't know. And probably, and where my dad had bought a house, there were no like signs. So they probably had another hour of trying to find where this house is. They found the house. They're now singing, and it's 2 a.m. So I wake up, right? I was a bit drunk as well. So I'd not cried up until this moment, because everyone was just moving mad, didn't it? So you don't even have time to grieve. So they're there, and I cried. I remember crying so much. And he came and he sat with me. And, then after that, people didn't know who he was. But obviously, I knew they'd come for me. So in the morning, because you need to be very grateful that you chose me over Msoja. Do you think Msoja would have come? And he's kept his love, and he's that person where he doesn't have much, but he doesn't talk much either. He just says the right things at the right time, and he just knows what to say. And I think he's been a source of strength for my sister, and their children are equally beautiful children.
That's nice.
And I know they won't mind.
That's beautiful.
When you see this, it's out there. I love you to bits. I love my sister to bits. I love you guys to bits. It's a shame we've made it onto this podcast, but we had to.
Wait till it starts doing the rounds on TikTok and ends up on Zim celebs.
Well, even if it ends up on Zim celebs,
you've not had anyone say anything to you like, oh, I said no one would, didn't it? Because they wouldn't watch the full episode.
Well,
it's only the Bonfoho family who know the real family secrets.
The real family. And the other thing is, the things they
would just see the clips that go viral on TikTok.
And the things I say as well are not lies. And the things that, even if the people I'm talking about hear about them, they know the spirit have said the things. There are some people I'll never talk about on this particular podcast because they're idiots. But the ones I speak about, even if they hear about it, it's not something that they're embarrassed about. It's not something that it hasn't been dealt with, because I don't think this is what I'm talking about. This whole business happened a long time ago, and they've been married a long time ago. These people, they've been, in marriages, they've sorted themselves out. Everybody knows who they are within that unit, and it's one Zimbabwean marriage I'm very proud of.
Oh,
And
look
I
at
was
you
there
saying nice
facilitating
things
it.
about the married folk.
I'm talking about functional marriages.
Yeah, we're gonna carry on with our home palm since we don't have a home. We'll just use what we have because Twitter say.
Havana zvekuita. Totongotamba iri kurira team.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into episode 11 of Mom Can You Not? If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you on the next episode, episode 12.
And to the Bonfofo family, I love you. You are the real ones. Mwah.